Hi there, my name is Grimith, and welcome to a new Let's Get On With It adventure. In this series, I'll be playing Might and Magic, Clouds of Xeen, and Might and Magic, Dark Side of Xeen, released in 1992 and 93 respectively, but united together in 94, with World of Xeen. Two games in one, or cynically, one game in two parts. I am familiar with World of Xeen. My first exposure came through a burned copy of Might and Magic 6-pack limited edition. My dad came home one day in 98 and said to his two children, "Here is a list of games I can get my computer guy to burn. Let me know what you want." Well, I knew the name Might and Magic 6 from the Easter egg in Heroes of Might and Magic 2, so I wanted the 6-pack. And I got it, and I played them all. If you're thinking of telling the cops, then do be advised I own the game legitimately these days. Also, my dad and his computer guy have been dead a long while. Anyway, the 6-pack includes the DOS version, which I won't be playing here. Instead, I'm playing the Macintosh CD 1.2 version. Different interface, different graphics, different music quality. Why am I playing the Mac version? I want to experience Xeen in a different format. I also want to record a Xeen playthrough in a different format. So here we are, and hey, it allowed me to dust off my Mac emulation knowledge, previously seen in a run of King's Bounty. Oh. I'll link that playlist in the video description. I will also link a guide to setting up Basilisk 2, the Mac emulator I am using, if you are interested in your own Macintosh adventures. That will be the extent of my tech support. Hey, I learned this all on my own many years ago. I will stress, there is an issue with my emulation. Combat animations are swift, and no amount of fuckery on my part, like changing the emulated CPU, the RAM, the OS, the monitor refresh rate, the emulator version, made that better. Basilisk 2 does not have comfy DOSBox emulation speed controls. Now, Sheepshaver is a different Mac emulator that could be more suitable, but I am unwilling to put in the time to get that all configured and risk the problem still being there. So, I'm dealing with Swift animations. If I get tired of them, or if something fundamentally breaks, then I may very well load up the DOS version and resume this playthrough from there. I got options. Alright, intro and disclaimer done. You have no fucking excuse. Like, we're playing Mac version. It's the video title. Why though? Why you do that? I just clicked around. I don't understand. I'm going to touch on the game documentation, then show some gameplay, so you know what to expect. Let's get on with it. This is the World of Xeen manual from the limited edition. I will not be reading it all aloud to you, but I wanted to touch on it as we embark on this adventure, perhaps together, or perhaps we go our separate ways. Thank you for purchasing World of Xeen. The special CD-ROM version of the game is really two games rolled into one with two differences. Your character is able to travel from one game to the other, doubling the size of the world available for exploration, and CD-ROM tech has made possible the use of digitized speech in all places that call for it. Note that the structure of the World of Xeen is a flat square. Travel is easy. There are small pyramids scattered around, which can be used to travel to the pyramid and castle view on the dark side, and the castle view pyramid will take you to the pyramid outside Vertigo and Clouds of Xeen. However, there may be other methods of traveling between the two sides. Once you become a flipside explorer, you can do quests that require you to visit both sides of the world. The main quest in each, those can be done separately, but with them united together, there is a third major quest and ending that requires you to hop back and forth. The Six Mirror. You and a small circle of friends have gathered at a local tavern in Vertigo to discuss the events of the last several months. Your conversation bobs and weaves among subjects in between draughts of ale, but the central topic is the vivid recurring dreams you all shared starting 8 months ago. The first dream arrived as a nightmare, frightening in its clarity and intensity. You all dreamt that you were listening to King Burlock's advisor, Croto, speak to you. It was as though he was talking from a great distance, and the message seemed to have been addressed to someone else. This message is not a dream. I am sorry to trouble your sleep in this manner, but I have no other way to communicate with you. A few months ago, a man claiming to be King Burlock's lost brother Roland arrived in court and announced himself to the king. Roland had left on a mission into Mount Firestone many years ago, looking for the passage to the fabled land below the land. That Roland should return home after all these years was very good news for the king, but I had my reservations. Where had he been all this time, and why hadn't he come home sooner? Suspicious of him from the first, I watched him tell tales of ancient treasures and works of power. The artifact that Roland talked most about was the sixth mirror. The sixth mirror was the only magic mirror that was made to be portable, and because of this it had no name. The owner of the mirror was able to step through it just like the other 5 mirrors, but he could take this one with him. That Roland was obsessed with the mirror became increasingly clear with time, but the king did not seem to notice. Rather, King Burlock began to finance expeditions to find the lost mirror. Many brave and powerful adventurers answered the call, but none succeeded. In spite of repeated failures, Roland urged the king to continue the search. As the search grew more feverish, King Burlock began to neglect his management of the realm. The king's health deteriorated, the servants grew lax in their duties, and the treasury ran dangerously low. I felt that I had to do something, and do it soon. I resolved to sleep on it and speak to the king in the morning. That very night, I awoke to the chill kiss of dark magic being worked nearby. Rising to my feet, I gathered my robe about me and quietly walked into the hallway. From there, I was able to hear muffled sounds coming from Roland's room. Cautiously, I crept up to Roland's room and looked through the keyhole. To my horror, I saw Roland sitting cross-legged, holding a black tomb in one hand. From a charcoal diagram on the floor across the image of a foul spirit, arose the image of a foul spirit in the shape of a knight with horns cresting his helm. Roland was conversing with it in a harsh tongue that I did not recognize. I must have made some sound then, for Roland abruptly turned and stared hard at the door. I backed away from the keyhole immediately, and it is well that I did, for the door suddenly blew off its hinges and slammed against the opposite wall. Fearing for my life, I ran. I ran as fast as my old bones would take me, ran as though the forces of hell were at my heels. They were. As I rounded the first corner of the hallway, screaming for help, the chill blast of Roland's winter magic narrowly missed me. We ran through the twisting halls of Burlock's castle, through rooms dusty with disuse, and through armories filled with rusting war tools. I took a turn, and found myself cornered at the end of a hallway, with no means of escape. In despair, I turned to face Roland, and raised my magical defenses, knowing that he was stronger than I. Roland came charging around the corner, and slowed down when he saw that I was cornered. Raising his hands above his head, in preparation of a sorcerer's strike, Roland smiled and said, "What's the matter, Croto? Are you afraid of what you saw?" Roland continued to approach me slowly. "Feeble old man, your fear of magic you don't understand is a discredit to our profession." "I understand your evil magic well, Roland," I said hopelessly, slumping my shoulders and bowing my head. "I can't hope to win against such strength." With that I sighed, gathering my energies for one good blast. I looked up at Roland, who was still smiling and advancing, sighed again, and threw my spell. The force of the dancing blade spell flying from me pushed me back against the wall. Caught off guard, Roland failed to deflect the spell. The blades flew out from my hands, stripping the flesh from his body. Hope rose within me when I saw what I had done to him, then despair when he still stood after the attack. Scraps of flesh clung to his grinning skull, and his one remaining eye glared at me. I knew then that Roland was undead, and that I could not defeat him. "Who are you?" I gasped, staring at the finger before me. The finger? Yes, staring at the figure before me. "Lord Xeen," the monster said. "Call me Lord Xeen, king of the world, for that is what I shall be in a very short time." "King Burlock," I began. "Will do as he is told," Xeen finished for me, "especially if he doesn't have you around to give him bad advice." There was nothing more to be said. Xeen made a peculiar gesture with his right hand, and then clenched his fist. I felt a pressure on my defenses and on my head, which quickly grew intolerable. The blackness took me, and I knew no more. When I awoke, I found myself in a tower on an island surrounded by water. From my window, I am able to see King Burlock's castle across the water. Every day, I see the search parties leaving the castle to look for the mirror and wonder if the king knows what Roland is or where I am. There is only one place in the world with a view like I have, and that is Baron Darzog's tower. Because of the materials used to construct the room I am in, I am unable to use my magic to escape. The only thing I can do is try to send these dreams to you, in hopes that you will hear and respond. I don't know what Lord Xeen wants the mirror for, but it can't be good. I fear the ruin of the realm if he succeeds. You are the only people in the world with the power and resources to make a weapon capable of slaying Lord Xeen of your laboratories in Newcastle. You must make haste. If Lord Xeen discovers what you are doing, he will destroy you. I feel like his dreams have gone to the wrong people. With that, the dream ends. This dream had been repeated several times for about 2 months, then never again. The day after you had your last dream, Newcastle was destroyed by a bolt from the sky, and all its inhabitants were killed. Each one of you realize that you may be the only person left alive who received the message. If you didn't do anything, nobody would. So you quit your jobs and traveled to Vertigo with your life savings. Here you were able to find training in spells and weapons, and here you met one another. You talk late into the night, excitement and nervousness in your voices. As the conversation winds down and you are all getting ready to retire for the night, you agree that tomorrow is the day you will start your adventures. And then we have a log of the Dragon Pharaoh. We'll leave it here on this single-page viewing. I will give some time for you to pause and read, should you so desire, though the text will be small. You can always just acquire the manual on your own time. Plenty of story time, but we gotta keep it moving here. Don't worry about it. I'll provide digestion of some kind. Dragon Pharaoh, that doesn't sound like any sort of dreams that I've been having. That doesn't sound important. Congratulations on your purchase of World of Xeen. Always tickles me when people congratulate me on my acquisition of, like, something I have acquired through capitalism. Refer to the reference card for instructions on installing the game. If you are new to the world of computer role-playing games, read the rest of this section before you get started. You will be represented by 6 characters in a party. You'll be in the game with a set of default characters just outside the tavern. You want to make your own characters? Go to the tavern. Tell you what your choices are once you check in. See the section on character creation for that. Dismiss characters, and then make your own party, and then assemble the squad. Characters have names, professions, statistics to represent capabilities, and hit points, which are really important. Do not die. You have levels that you gain. Levels are very powerful. Those are important. We have plenty of free time to explore the land of Xeen. Lots of stuff to find around. For the beginning player, computer role-playing games can seem confusing at first. We've done our best to make sure World of Xeen is easy to learn and play. Once you get the hang of it, we're sure you will have a lot of fun. We have several statistics that we'll enjoy in the creation of our characters. We will be re-rolling in the process of that, as classes do have minimum attribute requirements. Huzzah. That's how the screen will look. We have knights, we have paladins, we have archers, we have clerics, we have sorcerers, we have robbers, we have ninjas, we have barbarians, we have druids, we have rangers. They have their own hit point scales, their own, like, attack gain scales, skills they start with, whether they can cast spells, and there are different races: humans, elves, art, dwarves, gnomes, half-orcs. They have their own hit point modifiers, their own thievery modifiers, their own spell point per level modifiers, and their own starting skills. And more art. Review and assemble the party, and hey, you can delete characters. Hey, you may very well want to pull the gear off of the default party and slap it onto the new characters. That could be important for you. And there's adventuring with windows, and there's a control panel, and we've got our character screen that we're going to be seeing later on. Our inventorying in and an explanation of the various skills that we may start with or may acquire over the course of gameplay. basic combat, mechanics, and key bindings, which are for the DOS version, not for the Mac version. More art, a basic overview of spells. This does not include all of the spells. Note that spells expire when your party rests or with the coming of dawn, which is at 5 a.m. You can get the most out of these spells by casting them just after dawn, thus maximizing their duration. We'll pause on momentarily, but I will flip through this quick. And sorcerer spells, as above, were cleric spells. The Legend of the Unification. We have no time for legends. It's Guardians, Xeen, Moons, Lands, Unification. Important places. We start in Vertigo, in Clouds. Got, a little key for like where we can go, bop on in to hang out at places. And then we have Castle View with its own little number key. That's where you start in Darkside, or where you would go to in World of Xeen. You end up at when you make the pyramid transition at Darkside. Castle View. All right. That is the instruction manual. We have our map here of the light side of Xeen. We start here in Vertigo. Winterkill over there. Newcastle right here. Asp, Darzog's Tower, Castle Burlock, the Red Dwarf Range with the various mines, and the edges of the world. Because remember, Xeen is flat. And then we have the dark side over here. Sandcaster, Castle View, Castle Alamar, Castle Blackfang, Lakeside. Some cool, like, wizards and other high fantasy shit. And finally, a quick reference card for 3, 4, and 5. Complete with keywords that we could very well end up needing. Words of protection. For copy protection. Woo! All right. That is a review of the documentation. Let's launch this damn thing. Welcome to my Mac OS 8.1. Using this instead of 7.5.5, they both run the same, but this interface is better for me, so I'm using it. Let's mount World of Xeen, and let's launch 1.2. I don't need the game to run faster, thanks. Definitely does have the game look different, but speed is not the issue. There's World of Xeen right there. Cloud's intro. We can save the Dark Side intro for another time.
overseer of the land known as Xeen. Many years have passed since the glory days of King Burlock.
I am the king.
When times were good and there was much rejoicing. Yay! But now, imprisoned in this enchanted tower by the sinister, self-proclaimed Lord Xeen. I'm unable to help you in these dark times. It is now up to you, adventurers, to right what has been wronged.
I'll get right on that, chum. So, I am playing this in 640 by 40 resolution, so that it makes the game window bigger. Otherwise, I'd have a lot more desktop real estate, which we could see back there, but the game window would be the same size. I also have this full screen. Otherwise, I'd be playing this through my recording software. This helps my eyes, too. Let's look at the preferences. This won't matter for us. I am going to adjust these down by 1 step. There's no sound option for speech, like volume-wise. So I'm going to look towards making these lower to cater toward the speech. This first episode is also acting as a test for me. Let's see how this goes. Let's just open our last game. Here's our interface. We already start in combat. Click at the top right, makes a map appear. Our default party has a paladin, a knight, a ranger, a robber, a cleric, an elf, and different flavors on them, and different statistics. They also all have their own gear. Here is the interface for that. Weapons, armor, accessories, miscellaneous. You can also discard things, and there's quest items there. Around here, I will be pressing hotkeys some of the time. Remember them. Quick reference chart. We have the bigger map to pull up. I press I. That'll provide the game information. Day, time, year. There is aging in this game. It does adjust your statistics. The tavern's behind us. Ahead is the blacksmith. To the right is the temple. To the left is the exit from Vertigo. Now, I did warn, combat animations are going to be swift. How swift? I fired an arrow there. We're gone. Anyway, the mayor is here.
Welcome to Vertigo. Sadly, most of the population has left because the town is infested with pests. A couple of years ago, I hired Joe, the exterminator, to rid the town of this menace. But the problem seems to be getting worse. Perhaps you could help.
Perhaps. Now, I'm stressed I have familiarity with this. It has, however, been decades since I played this game. Still, I do have knowledge, the tech, and I will be making use of some of it over the course of gameplay. I don't intend to use the magic mirror to do sequence like breaking. I intend to stick with Cloudside until I've resolved stuff here that I want to before making the flip to dark side. I won't be heading to the land below the land, the secret, super cool, awesome place that Roland was looking for, which does exist. Maybe we'll make use of some Lloyd's beaconing. Maybe we'll make use of all sorts of game knowledge. Maybe we won't. I'm alright with taking advice on this regard, but I am looking to have some challenge and some exploration. Again, it's been decades since I played World of Xeen. We're going to come right over here to this New World Computing well and have some drinks for our characters. Plus 25 HP. Yes, it can overheal. Alright, now if we take a look at these fuckers here. Hit points, current, 37 out of 12. Our sorcerer, 30 out of 5. This is definitely going to help the sorcerer, that's for sure. There's also a well nearby, very close to Vertigo. You just turn left through the woods. Gives you plus 5 armor class. That will not be required. Let's go resolve the mayor's problem, shall we? Excuse you. Gonna need you to get out of my way. Thanks. Magic mirror to the left, another tent over there to the right. A well that will be purified once we've resolved the issue. Just by coming back here, get here to a grate. Now this is our robber. We're going to have the robber open this grate. Try and disarm any traps that could be on it. Pick the lock, even though there's like a lever there. Whomst amongst us can say it's been opened. And our startup team resolves that problem just fine. Welcome to Joe's storeroom. We have a horrifying breeder slime. That needs to get out of our face. What's that? Doombug over there in the distance. Seymour has no time for this. Be gone. Seymour says, be gone. He knows you're in there. Oh, wait, there's more. There's doom bugs over to our left and right. At least our right. There could be slimes behind me now. 2 more. There we go. Now, there are 9,700 more doom bugs and slimes around these parts, particularly in some of these crates. But here is our answer. Inside the crate, you find a piece of paper that reads, breeder slime, 1 mated pair, at 287, 5 doom bugs at 145 each, 725, total 1012 gold. It appears that Joe has been buying monsters and distributing them around town. Mayor Gunther will want to hear about this. Well, let's go let him know. Good job, starting party. I will be creating my own characters, but gotta give them their moment to shine in this alternate reality before I mug them and take everything they have. The instruction manual does recommend doing that, and, you know, I'm considering the possibility of not doing that, but I mean, it's the instruction manual saying I should. How could I say no?
Thank you for cleaning up Vertigo and discovering Joe's treachery. Now it makes sense why the extermination of the pests was taking so long. I present you with the Outstanding Citizenship Award and this treasure. Congratulations! Oh, one more thing. I have received a message from the dwarves who reside in the Red Dwarf Range. They have urgently requested help and promised great reward to whoever is brave enough to come. Apparently, their gem mines have been invaded by the Mad Dwarf clan, preventing them from mining. Help them out and report back.
You got it, Gunther. It's not just combat animations that go quick. That goes quick, too. But in the case of combat animations, you're not able to enjoy some of the sprite work. Some of it that I would be able to if I was playing the DOS version and slowed down the animations. Anyway, 4,000 gold, 50 gems. We use gems for casting a number of spells in this game. And what? Still have a late lunch? Pretty good adventuring, I do feel. Our work here is done. Seymour says, fuck this shit. That was the kick option. I kicked the tent. Ahem. Seymour says, to hell with this shit. He's out of the party. As is his birthright.
Hello, travelers.
Howdy. Let's get pissed. Good stuff.
Thank you.
And we get some tips. But we can only get a tip every time we drink, so long as we aren't rendered drunk by it.
Thank you.
Again.
Thank you.
Again.
Thank you.
Again. He's drunk. It's your turn, Tyro.
Thank you.
Yes. Tyro got drunk pretty early. Badger, you're up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Look at these exciting tips. We can get these tips in all the taverns across the land, so long as we're willing to chug and
Thank
risk
you.
getting drunk.
Thank you.
Just like these individuals back here. That's what's happening. Yes.
Thank you.
You may need to ask Mr. Wizard for help.
Thank you.
Good work, Badger.
Thank you.
The wells in the middle of towns are helpful once you solve the town's problems. The well here in Vertigo, I'm pretty sure, heals you up to full. But before that, drinking from it will poison you. Keep this one in mind. Alright, Badger's toasted. Zippo!
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, there goes Zippo, and finally Rebecca. Immediately. Good work, squad. We got access to some rumors. A rumor there. We can buy food for our resting purposes.
Goodbye.
And signing in here is where we permanently remove characters from the game. That way we can reuse the portraits. One of the changes made in this Macintosh CD version is that some of the pre-Sage faces, like the folks who worked on this port, have made it into the game. But we cannot reuse any of these portraits until I delete those characters. I want to show off character creation here, though, as I don't intend to do so, like, in an actual video. I'll handle character creation on my own. humans, elves, dwarves, gnomes, half-orcs, more humans here at the end. And we roll for statistics. You can see what character classes we can choose with these statistics. We're able to swap numbers as the situation goes. We just roll some dice. See what numbers we get. Memory serves, the range is between 3 and a 21, so we're rolling 3d7 as opposed to 3d6. But hell, I could be wrong. It could just be 3d6, which would, you know, be cromulent and perfectly reasonable dice. Now there we have a 4. 6 there. Alright, there you go for that. Wow! I saw a 21 on luck there in one of those rolls. There you go. Then we create a character, then we name the character. We'll say that you're a ninja. Test. That's that. Then we slap Test into the party. Now Test is adventuring with us. That does mean that you can cycle out characters. So, you know, we could have multiple parties running around and doing stuff. We would have to level them up from the beginning. There you go. Starts with no experience. I do like the artwork for that hit point. Thievery and Swimmer. Alright. I think that is an effective demonstration of gameplay. Covers some other things about how I intend to play this game, and some of my knowledge, at least around Vertigo. Thoughts, feelings, questions, concerns, rude remarks, slanderous statements. Let me know. See you all next time, back in Vertigo.